Good to be back here in balmy Santa Barbara. Last evening, I had an incredible campsite up on above what used to be Sunburst Farms, way up there on Camino Cielo. It's clear, starry night, beautiful. Well, today, I'm going to talk about benevolence. Actually, one of the Brahma Viharas. It's also known as loving kindness. But first, I'm going to speak to it from one of Dongshan's teachings that Bill Powell translated. It's number 75. The master went to the hall and asked to the assembly, he said, Dongshan said, is there anyone who does not reciprocate for the 4 forms of benevolence or respond to the 3 classes of beings? The assembly made no response. The master spoke again. If one does not personally experience the meaning of this, how can one transcend the tribulations of birth and death? If constantly and without a break, you don't let any thought come into contact with things, or any step come to rest, then you will accord with reality. You should strive earnestly and not pass the day at ease. So the master said, is there anyone who does not reciprocate for the 4 forms of benevolence or respond to the 3 classes of beings? Now, according to the notes that Bill had in his text, the 4 forms of benevolence are appropriate for parents, for kings, for all beings, and for the 3 treasures. Now, the 4 forms of benevolence can also be looked at as loving kindness, friendliness or amity, which is goodwill between groups of people and between nations, and an active interest in others. The 3 realms of the 3 classes of being, or the 3 realms of being, are the realm of desire, the realm of form, and the formless realm. So benevolence can be expressed to parents, to rulers, to all beings, and to benevolence to the 3 treasures, the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And responding to the 3 realms of beings, the realm of desire, the realm of form, and the formless realm. So Dongshan asked, is there anyone who does not reciprocate for the four forms of benevolence: friendliness, loving kindness, goodwill between groups, between nations, and an active interest. Is there any in another? Is there anyone who does not reciprocate to that, or respond to beings of the realm of desire, form realm, and the formless realm? And then he goes on to say that if one does, we need to personally experience this, the meaning of this, the meaning of loving kindness, of friendliness, of goodwill between groups, and to an active interest in others. We need to personally experience this, the experience of it, the meaning of it, because it's intimately connected to birth and death, our birth and death, and others' birth and death. And then he goes on to say that if constantly and without a break, you don't let any thought come into contact with things, if constantly and without a break, so the continuity of practice is what we also practice, is this continuity of paying attention, continuity of being present, continuity from this moment to this moment without a break. And that no step comes to rest until we accord, because we accord with reality. There's this constancy, the continuity that our practice gives us an opportunity for. Now, this continuity of practice can be looked at in multiple ways. And one way Confucius talked about it, he said, in Analytics book 4:15, he says, Zeng, my friend, my way is bound together with one continuous strand. Now, one continuous strand, imagine your practice being continuous and one continuous strand. There's another organism that weaves one strand continuously, a silk worm that can be 1 kilometer long in a cocoon. And a spider makes a web that connects strands in various directions. And Coben spoke of this kind of web in this way. He says, human activity is like building a nest or a web. The spider makes his web in space, and when he flies from this tree to that tree, always that sticky string comes. It becomes hard and supports him. Humans have done that kind of job for a long time, creating webs and nests. It's like putting a bridge in space walking on space, which you get to do with a bridge. A few times a big war shows up, that if we go on and on this way, everyone will fall off the bridge. Speaks to the fragility of these strands we each are and the webs we make. And one of the things that was I really appreciate from reading, one of the readings we did during his memorial was he talked about miracles, how the Golden Gate Bridge is a miracle. And if anybody has walked on it or gone to visit it, it's a miracle that it exists. But it's a miracle that is a product of many, many people's efforts of bringing together resources and all these efforts to make it happen. So Confucius talks about one continuous strand. His way is one continuous strand, but maybe it's also interwoven with other strands into a brocade, a fabric of dimension that results in sometimes miracles forming, like the pulling together of a book sometimes is a miraculous, or the building of a structure is miraculous, or the coming together of a group to work on an is a miracle, working on a project. So I never thought of these things as miracles, but he said, you could tell somebody, you do miracles, go build a Golden Gate Bridge, like that. You can't. It takes people, it takes effort to do that. And so I see that through the practice of these many ways of benevolence, of not just loving kindness, but friendliness and kindness between groups, and the just even the care and interest to others is a way of making webs. So so again, is there anyone who does not reciprocate to these four forms of benevolence, or respond to the three realms of beings? And he goes on to express the importance of the personal experience of it, to deeply experience it and understand the meaning of it without break. The condition of our mind is something we get to experience when we notice it. It's hard to experience it when we're swept away by it. Or it's hard to experience the clarity when we're swept away by it. I have met a Lakota chaplain at a prison I'm visiting now. That he says some amazing things, but one of the things he says is, why do people believe what's on their mind? It's always going to trick you. And I thought, dude, you're right on. He's has crazy wisdom and practices it with vigor with the prisoners. So they've been fortunate to have him, and I'm fortunate to know him now, to work in that realm where prisoners are at this particular location. It's a healthcare facility for prisoners, and they have a chance to actually it feels loose. It feels kind of almost normal. Their doors are open. The dorm buildings are open into the overall complex. And the freedom of movement is pretty open. So many of these men will be not just prisoners, but one day neighbors. And how to bring this boundless sense of benevolence, of being useful, helpful, careful, friendly, listening to people that need to reintegrate, need to belong to a community than where they've been for the last decade or more. And it's this sense of belonging is such a crucial element that each of us have, a need each of us has of where do I fit in? Where do I belong? How am I useful? What do I need and what do others need? So Dongshan talks about, is there anyone who does not reciprocate to benevolence or respond to the realms of being? And no one in the hall answered. But I appreciate Bill translating this, because I wasn't aware of these. Usually you think of loving kindness as just one, as what it is, but the character for benevolence is the same character that Confucius used for an authoritative person, meaning someone who isn't just knowledgeable, but actually is developed in ways that allow others to emulate in non-coercive ways. That is a good example. Authoritative maybe in knowing the way or knowing their way, so it's something to emulate. And this practice allows us to deal with our core quest of what is our spiritual practice. I think everyone that comes to Zen wonders what is my core practice, and eventually we find our way with it and operate with it in conjunction with other beings in many different kinds of realms to form new webs and nests and bridges that perhaps are useful to others. Coben once said, your existence, the essence of our existence, shows what truth is. It is not knowledge. It is the thing which gave you life to live on this earth. And it is hard to say what it is, this thing that gave us life. So, thank you. What I'd like to do is hear from you.